Hi, what's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of Playing Solo Jazz Piano and Jazz Piano Fundamentals. And if you missed the announcement, it's a little bit over a month until the start of my 32-session class that you can take. I have 2 levels, beginning and intermediate. It's through the community college that I teach at, but anybody from anywhere all over the world can take it. So I'll make sure that I have a link to the frequently asked questions about that class. But I'm not here just to advertise. I want to talk with you today about a really useful 2-measure comping rhythm that I call the Count Basie rhythm. And this is based on the really famous ending that Count Basie is so well known for using that has just been imitated so many times, and it's just become a cliche of jazz. But that ending goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'll let you see what I'm playing here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And the basic formula of this ending is that you're going to move somehow between the 2 chord, the sharp 2 diminished, and then the 1 chord with the 3rd in the bass. So if we're talking through chord symbols, we're going to say we're going from D minor. If we're in the key of C, we'll go D minor to D sharp diminished 7th to C over E. And I'll show you how I did that here. I went, there's D minor. There I'm only changing the D and the F to E sharp and F sharp. First, here's your D minor. Now watch, it's only those 2 notes that change. So all the other notes can kind of remain the same. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can voice that. It could be with the 3rd and starting in the bass. It could be just about any inversion. That one's a little bit weird to have the 5th in the bass. Could start with the 7th of the D minor in the bass. It's a little strange too, a little bit off the beaten path. But any of these can hypothetically work, but that's the general formula. Now the rhythm is also totally essential here, and that's what we're really going to be talking about today. And the rhythm is really such a simple one because it's got 2 strong beats and then the anticipation of the last strong beat, right? So when I say strong beats, I mean beats 1 and 3 in a 4/4 measure. So this first comp, let's say, is on beat 3, beat 1, and then this one's on the and of 2. So that's anticipating beat 3. You might also notice that this rhythm in measure 2 forms what I often refer to as the Charleston rhythm, right? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Cool. So let's see, I'm going to change the view here. We'll look at all 3 cameras. And so what I want to do for you now is first demonstrate playing a tune and practicing using that Count Basie rhythm over and over in the left hand. And that's going to be really good practice because this rhythm is such a typical jazz rhythm. We can use it in our comping. So I'll take the A train. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I bet some of you have used this rhythm and not even thought about it. And then practice it while improvising. And of course, this gets more difficult. I have not tried this. I should have tried it before I press record on the video, but let's try it together. Too honest on this channel. 1, 2, 3, 2. wasn't quite right. Right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, try improvising, playing that rhythm, and counting. That's a challenge for you. And you might wonder, how can you do that without having, you said you didn't try it before you hit record. Well, I've played the Charleston rhythm so much that all I have to do then is add that beat 3 in front of it. So if you've practiced the Charleston rhythm, the good news is that this rhythm will come really easily to you. This is a total aside. If you're ready for it, I always suggest to advanced pianists that they do it with the hands both ways. So practice with the left hand improvising and the right hand practicing that count Basie rhythm. It just internalizes it deeper. Okay, so the idea. It really helps to internalize it. And sometimes you want to take a little bass solo and comp with your right hand. So it's really good practice. What kind of voicings am I using? I'm just comping with basic type A, type B voicings with the 3rd or the 7th on bottom, really regardless of whether I'm playing in the right hand or the left. Now you could practice this for solo piano, in which case I would do probably 2 low comps and 1 high. You could play high, low, high, low. So that's totally possible too. All right, so we've talked about the ending. Now we're practicing comping using that rhythm while we do something in the right hand. But I often hear a whole category of comping patterns that people do adding to this rhythm. And you could consider them different comping rhythms, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But I think it's really useful to think of them as variations of this rhythm. And I particularly hear people doing this to respond to somebody's phrase. And when I think about it, the idea makes sense because people usually end their phrase on the end of 4, beat 1, or maybe they even bleed a little bit into the next measure. So because you have this rest over here, you really have the opportunity to wait around and then respond. So to me, that's maybe why it works as a good response. It's also, as a longer rhythm, you could, if somebody plays 2 measures, this is a really good 2-measure response. So you could really add extra comps in a lot of different places. Let's add the first one here. And this forms a little, I call it a push-off. So 1, 2, 2. It feels great. 1, 2. Let's keep going in that direction. We could add a comp right before beat 3. 1, 2. I think of this as a double push-off, right? Because there's ba-da-da. Right, one push-off would just be do-da. This one's do-do-da. Wynton Kelly, one of my favorite accompanists, uses double push-off all the time. Listen to his albums with Hank Mobley. Wynton Kelly's always using this double push-off. Another place that you could add a comp to create a busier rhythm would be right there. So that's on beat 2 before the end of 2. So 1, 2. And as I do this, I always think about a trombone section in a big band. It always feels like trombones. Listen to that one more time, and then I'm going to add one small thing. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. But even better, you can add a side step here, and now it's really starting to feel melodic. So side step, I've talked about a number of times on this channel, but just in case you're newer, a side step means that we're moving our normal chord by a half step and then returning to the original chord. So if my normal chord, and here it might be very helpful to see this. So here's my voicing for C major 7. It's a 6, not a 7, if I'm being totally honest. If I want to do a side step, I'm going to move it. Just each note goes down by a half step. Instead of E, I'm playing E flat. Instead of G, I'm playing G flat. Instead of A, I'm playing A flat. It's like one big neighbor motion for an entire voicing. And yes, it could go down like I'm doing, and it's most common to sidestep below your voicing, but it could also be above. So adding in that side step can make it even feel like an even more kind of full response to a phrase. So I've been talking about how this could be used in call and response, but I haven't really demonstrated that yet. I think it'd be nice if you could see the iPad a little bit. So you don't need to see my face. You've seen it plenty. So here's how you might practice in a 2-bar call and response format. So I'm trying to play 2 measures in the right hand. You could comp during those 2 measures, or just like I did, you could leave those measures open. And then I'm trying to put a nice pin in the phrase, a nice ending to the phrase around beat 1. And then I'm playing some version of that comping pattern in the empty 2 measures. So just 2 in the right, 2 in the left, 2 in the right, 2 in the left. Now, there's certainly plenty of other ways that we could kind of add or alter this phrase. I think this is a really nice one. But we could keep going forever, adding more and more push-offs. It could be da 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 da. It could be, we would call this a triple push-off. 1. And it could even be that in the second measure, we add we could even add an end of 1 in front of beat 1. I know now it just looks like chaos. And you could experiment putting side steps in different places. Just remember that when you sidestep, you always have to return to that original voice. Now, I realize this might seem to have nothing to do at all with the Count Basie rhythm anymore. And, I wouldn't disagree if you were like, Jeremy, this is not the same thing as the Count Basie rhythm. But as we add more and more to this framework, it still feels so good. To me, it still has that same feeling of right? So you can add extra comps in your own way to that Count Basie rhythm. Experiment with some side steps, some double push-offs, some triple push-offs. Mix up where the rhythm is. But as long as you keep those guideposts of da, t, da, t, ah. It's gonna feel pretty good. All right, I think that's it. So just my friendly reminder to you, which is that if you like this, you'll love these books: Jazz Piano Fundamentals, Playing Solo Jazz Piano. And if you like learning from me, you'll really like my class. It's incredibly organized. You'll have kind of worksheets to fill out that I'll grade. You'll have discussion boards to post to where you can share your progress. I'm really proud of it as a learning mechanism. So I will see you soon, and let me know in the comments if you like this and if you have any questions. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.